I can either send you the app
Yes,
if you have the
we're
app.
good.
All right, I'll put it together.
All righty. At this time, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, and I'll ask you to silence any cell phones or electronic devices that make noise at this time. Val, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Penny?
Here.
Commissioner Curry?
Here.
Commissioner Danio?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Villa?
Here. And now I'll ask you all to please rise for the invocation led by City Commissioner Penny Curry and continue standing for the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards.
Let us pray. Lord, I ask that you be over the entire City Commission this evening. Allow us to continue to do your work and continue to improve our city. I also ask you to keep everybody and their families safe this weekend, during the holiday weekend. The ocean is supposed to be a little unfriendly, so please keep all the visitors and locals safe. Lord, and I thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. And I ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Curry. So at this time, we move to item 2, which is presentations. And tonight we have a presentation to recognize and honor the Save the Arts movement, which, as many of you probably know, we were so blessed to have wonderful artists come to us to paint the mural on Daytona Avenue Bridge. And I know I got to go out and meet you ladies, and just so talented. It turned out amazing. I'm sure the rest of you have gotten so many phone calls from citizens and business people.
Gorgeous.
I mean, tons of them. So we wanted to make sure that we recognized you here officially. And so with that, I do have a certificate that I'm going to read into the record, and I will hand to you. And we want to recognize Natasha Azari. Am I saying that right? Azari. I messed it up the first time, too, when we met. Azari. Ania?
No, Anya.
Ania, okay.
The only other, the two Natashas are here, and James.
And then we have Tasha Roth and Taylor Renee. So we want to thank you so much, but I'm going to read this into the record now. This is a proclamation by the mayor of the city of Holly Hill, Florida, recognizing Save the Arts Movement, May 25th, 2021. The city of Holly Hill would like to thank Save the Arts Movement and the following artists: Natasha Azari. I say that one. There we go. Anya Amador, Tasha Roth, and Taylor Renee, who participated in the city's first mural on Daytona Avenue Bridge. In witness thereof, I've hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Holly Hill, Florida, to be affixed, done at City Hall, Florida, on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Thank you all so much. If you want to come up, would you like to say anything, or would you just like to take a picture with us?
Well, as Natasha's coming up,
Although I want to thank you all for the opportunity, really. It means a lot to me because, like, more than I ever wanted to, I want to help beautify the city, collaborate with artists, and help bring people's visions to life, and just, that's all I can say. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
That's
Mayor,
amazing.
Thank you.
just as a reminder, you and I went to the plaza about a month and a half ago for their downtown beachside redevelopment ideas. So we were sitting in the audience, and they were passing the microphone around to different people, and Natasha stood up and appropriately, passionately spoke about murals in Daytona Beach. And in the middle of the meeting, I went up and I gave her my business card, and I said, "We need to talk." And she followed up with me a day or two later, and that's how that relationship started. And she's, I said, "I want to do a mural," and I didn't know anything about it, and she gave me the ideas that I shared with you. And I was told her, I was a little nervous about it, but I figured the worst that could happen is if it didn't come out like she told me, I would just put white paint on it. But when they got there, as you said, what an incredible set of talented ladies that worked on that wall. It was just, I was blown away by the magnificence of what they did, and in 3 days' time. You know, I couldn't draw a circle in 3 days, and they created that wall, and each of you did an outstanding and wonderful job. That we wanted to recognize you with this,
And before we take a picture too, Vice Mayor Penny, I know you would like to say something.
What an amazing transformation. But the question that I get asked most often is, where can people find your artwork as individual artists, or do you always collaborate? Is there a guild somewhere? And I just had this crazy idea. I might get in trouble for saying it out loud, but I'm going to say it anyways, Joe. We have artwork on our walls here. Wouldn't it be nice to have these ladies' artwork on our walls once in a while?
can't bring that slab of concrete in here.
But they have to do, you guys have to do canvases and paintings for sale for the general public, right? Individually? So we need to find out where people can find you.
Right. Save the Arts is also based on.
If you could go to the
individual,
microphone. Natasha, if you could go to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're
Save
recording.
the Arts is also based off of independent individual artists coming together as a team and, collaborating, beautifying the city. So where we would be able to find their portfolio would be on the website that we're still building. It's up, but we're planning to have all their information there and access to their portfolios. And that's it.
Just thinking, you guys need to get in touch with Pat Abernathy. She's one of the ladies that puts on our art show. And they've already selected a date. I saw her tonight. She said they have a date late March next year.
Next year already, yeah.
Yep.
Abernathy.
You guys did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And what will,
You are so talented.
I could have not done it without the other artists involved, really. This has come to show how powerful collaboration and teamwork can be. Like, if this was me doing it alone, it would have taken weeks. If
Your
this-
whole team
Yeah,
is absolutely
Equally.
talented.
thank you.
yeah.
Blown away by what I saw.
Well,
Like
Joe
the-
showed us a picture, and my comment was, there's no way it'll look that good.
I know. I know.
Better. It
Yes.
looks
Does
better
look
than
better.
Yes.
the picture he showed us.
Took proper planning and proper communication and proper expectations. In the end, this is what teamwork is all about.
It's funny, John, that was my same, I said, it's
I
not
thought
going to look like this.
Yeah.
It looks
I
good.
said, I don't think
I
it's going to
said,
look quite like that.
But the amount of detail you all put in it is just spectacular, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
each of them, they have their skill, their set of skills set. So wherever we're strong in our abilities, we're able to help and cover each other on that. So we're able to hop on areas of the murals, and this is how it's able to finish up as quicker than expected. So that's what's worked.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw what was happening in Jacksonville recently, but they recently did something, which is what Natasha's going for, where they had this huge mural. They basically took over the city with these murals, and it changed the city completely. And they involved so many different kinds of artists. So the one thing I've noticed here is that there's like a particular type of theme we're going for, but these artists had so many different styles. They brought a lot of culture to the city, and murals do actually bring in a more community, takes out crime, less graffiti. So I think that was something we were going for, right?
Absolutely. It's got so many benefits.
And the more artists that are involved and the more people that we bring out of the community into the artwork, the more that the city itself is going to grow, like, as a community.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked and impressed by the interactiveness, by the residents and the community coming to see the mural. People were even stopping by for that purpose in that area where it's not much of a busy road, but I noticed, we noticed that it was busier when we were working out there. There was more trafficking. People were just admiring the artwork from across the road, and you could see it in their face, like it made their day, and it was like it became an attraction in that area.
I have received a lot of positive comments.
A lot. I received like random phone calls too, like, how'd you get my number? But I'm excited to hear this from you. Thank you.
You know, one of the things I talked with Natasha about, and I've mentioned it to some of you, is this was funded by actually a very gracious price that they offered to the city. funded through the CRA program. And what I'd like to do, whether it's the balance of this year with potential money that may be left over, but certainly budget next year for the city to do more murals and to create a grant program where we could assist businesses maybe on a 50% grant where they could hire these artists to paint murals on their properties. So I think it's the start of being able to, like Tasha said, becoming a mural community and bring that culture into the city and change the footprint of what we're for.
And there may be other opportunities also if FPNL ever pulls the wires off the poles. It's going to be a lot of ugly boxes.
We talked about that too, and about painting the boxes or
Yeah.
even putting wraps on them or something.
Yep.
Also, I couldn't thank enough James White.
If you could
here.
talk
He's
into the
my
mic.
secretary. He helps me with the planning and strategizing and just getting the process, helps me get the process organized in this. I definitely could have not done it without him. So he plays a huge part in Save the Arts as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Helped me prime the walls.
Thank you all so much. And we're going to give you these and ask if you take a picture with the commission right down in front. So thank you so much. Another round of applause for the artists.
Absolutely, thank you. Apologize for like my nervousness in the beginning. I was like, take them back,
mural?
but I didn't expect this recognition. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Take that there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back here, behind City Hall.
All right, I got a couple different cameras. So
They got
big
these-
smiles.
There's
It's great having no mask on.
I forget what road it is over there. It's in Lake Mary area, or Longwood.
Thank you all.
Painted
Natasha, it's okay.
There's one of those passed, the funded pass by the county or whatever. There were a bunch of fences over there where they took sections of these fences and they put just scenes from movies or famous actors and stuff. And they
Oh, and you know what? I have two others for the other artists.
You didn't get one for James?
What's that?
You didn't get one for James?
I did not. Did not know him. Maybe they'll share. Okay, and with that too, we won't be offended if you chose to leave. We won't be offended by that if you weren't here for the rest of the meeting. But we might talk about murals at the end of the meeting, but you're free to leave if you'd like. So we'll move now to the public comments. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the commission about anything not on our regular agenda tonight, please raise your hand. Nothing tonight. All right. Seeing none, I'll close public comments, and we'll move to approval of the minutes from May 11th, 2021 workshop on Pictona Phase 2 and May 11th, 2021 regular city commission meeting and CRA meeting. Can I have a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Johnson, a second from Commissioner Danio for approval. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the minutes? Seeing none, I'll close public comment, and with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving to the consent agenda, would any commissioner like to remove an item? The action proposed is stated for each item on the consent agenda. Unless a city commissioner removes an item from the consent agenda, no discussion on individual items will occur, and a single motion will approve all items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Curry, a second from Commissioner Danio. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Now we're moving to our regular agenda, Resolution 2021-R-36. Mr. Simpson.
Resolution number 2021-R-36 by title only for first and only reading. A a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, amending the adopted budget for the City of Holly Hill for the fiscal year 2020, and providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Forte?
I'm going to turn it right over to Stella.
All right. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Stella Grenay, Finance Director. This is our mid-year budget review. We went through with the departments and looked at the revenues and the expenditures for the departments, and we were able primarily to transfer things within departments whenever we thought there was going to be a shortfall. But we did have a couple pieces of revenues to add to the budget, so this resolution adds the revenue and expenses. This is for the Victims Advocate Grant that we got for the police department, and the $5,000 FP&L grant that we got for the Christmas decorations. So that's what this resolution is adding to the budget.
Thank you very much,
I will
Stella.
tell you, Mayor, even Big John called me today, and he said it's quite a feat to have a budget amendment at less than $100,000, less than probably a couple $1 million that some of the other cities do. But I wanted to remind you that we did a lot of budget shifting in the departments, and it's all stuff that I can do within my ability as the manager to move these monies between lines within the department. So we didn't have to dip into the reserve funds or anything like that. So if you want, we can come forward and present that to you, but it's a lot of boring. We moved $5,000 from this line and $3,000 from that line, and if you want to do that, we certainly can. Or if you want to just take a look at what I have, it's in my office. I can go through it with you to just see where, if a certain line item was short and another line item had excess funds, but midway through, we made those internal adjustments within a department. So I just want to make sure everybody understood that there was still that internal shifting.
Well, and any major things we'll go over during the budget process as well. So we'll be able to see where,
Right, to your point,
where that went up or down.
when you mentioned to me in the office, when we do the next round of budget, you'll see current year budget, actuals, and proposed. So if things are shifted, you'll see it there as well.
Right, and then we ask questions line by line. So unless anybody else would like to have a workshop on it or any meeting. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Forte. Thank you, Stella. With that, are there any further questions for staff? All right, we'll open this up to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation and I'll entertain a motion for approval of Resolution 2021-R-36.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Danio and a second from Commissioner Curry. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now moving to our public hearings. Number one, ordinance 2021-0-3039. Mr. Simpson.
Mayor, there's actually two ordinances.
Oh, okay.
2021-0-3039, which is a comprehensive plan change for future land use. And then there's also ordinance 3040, which is the ordinance rezoning the property. Both apply to the same piece of property. So historically, what we have done is I read both ordinances.
And then vote.
And then you'll have one presentation and comments, and then you'll vote on them separately.
Perfect.
Is that fine?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Ordinance number 2021-0-3039 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending the comprehensive plan by amending the future land use map designation of certain property identified as 1860 North Nova Road and 1529 Old Kings Road, having parcel numbers 42423101020 and 42423101070, respectively, by virtue of a small-scale future land use map amendment, changing the future land use map designation from MXZ, mixed use zoning, to general commercial, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. And then the other one is ordinance number 3040, by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending the land development regulations by amending the official zoning map to designate the property described in Exhibit A from I-1 light industrial to B5 heavy commercial, and B5 heavy commercial to CC1 commercial corridor district, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Forte?
I'm going to turn it right over to Brian. This is your second reading, so it's nothing new that you're going to hear tonight.
All right. Mr. Walker?
Mayor, Commissioners. This is, as the city manager mentioned, this is a follow-up on 2 properties that were annexed into the city back in March, 1860 North Nova Road and 1529 Old Kings Road. They now have to have the City of Holly Hills zoning applied to them, and they need to be included in the City of Holly Hills comprehensive plan. There is nothing that has changed since first reading. There is project information and zoning, surrounding zonings that are included in your staff report. Site analysis as well was done to determine whether or not the city could handle any increases to water and sewer and transportation that might be generated from the change in the land use, and we do have the capacity. The amendment will not encourage any urban sprawl, which is in harmony with Florida statutes. It is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and the zoning of CC1 is appropriate for the area, and in fact is what is the zoning of the property that it abuts. So based on this, staff does recommend adoption of the proposed ordinance enacting a small-scale future land use map amendment from mixed-use zone, Volusia County, to general commercial, Holly Hill, and a second ordinance adopting a proposed ordinance enacting a rezone from I-1 light industrial and B5 heavy industrial, Volusia County, to CC1 commercial corridor, Holly Hill, for approximately 1.45 acres located about 500 feet south of Floman Street between North Nova Road and Old Kings Road.
Thank you very much. Mr. Walker, are there any questions for staff? All right. Thank you, Mr. Walker. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, we'll close public participation, and we're going to take a look at ordinance 2021-0-3039. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Johnson for approval and a second from Vice Mayor Penny. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to ordinance 3040. And any questions for staff on this? I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion for approval of ordinance 3040 from Commissioner Johnson, a second from Commissioner Danio. Any discussion needed? Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. Before we take a vote, we will open this up to the public. If anyone would like to comment on ordinance 3040, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to communications. So I'll start it off tonight. I just want to praise our chamber for all the amazing events they've been putting together. There was a really awesome event held a few days back at the River Lily Inn, and there was a lot of people there. We even had the Queen show up. It's a joke. We actually had a cardboard cutout of the Queen. But nonetheless, it was a good event that I know that Sammy Crouch is working so hard and really doing a lot. It's a tough time for businesses right now, trying to recover from last year. And of course, we were all there today at Riviera Assisted Living, amazing, but especially the Touch a Truck event. And I know some of you may talk about that tonight, but I got so many great responses from that, kids being able to climb up on trucks and stuff. And I didn't really think that my own kids would even like it, but they left and thought it was the coolest thing that they got to go in a fire truck and got to go on Commissioner Johnson, your big crane up there. They got a kick out of that one. My 4-year-old said that was her favorite one, by the way.
I lost my wind vane on the way back.
You lost your what?
Lost my wind vane up on the boom. It hit the tree limb all the way back.
Oh, did you? Oh, man.
I knew that'd be the first
It was a really cool event, though, and we had Senator Tom Wright actually come through and stop, check everything out, and he tweeted about it from his official pages and whatnot, and he'll be back next year. I know it's going to be bigger and better, but it was super, super nice to see all the smiling faces. And, Jeep Beach was even out there, and they did a video of it, and it got thousands and thousands of views all over. So, and actually, I did an interview with Jeep Beach live. There was somebody from up north that said, hey, Holly Hill's that great little town in between Ormond and Daytona. We stopped by the gnome tree. Ask them about the gnome tree. So, pretty neat that they're bringing a lot of people here, and they're about to give away $500,000 back to our community. Jeep Beach, none of them take salaries. Everything goes right back to the community. So when you see those Jeeps around for a week, they're doing a lot of good here in our community. So I wanted to just briefly touch on that. I want to also remind everyone here that on Monday, this coming Monday is Memorial Day, May 31st, and at 10 a.m. at our memorial out front here, over on the side by the boxcar, there will be a ceremony there, and they did request to know if any of the commissioners were planning on attending. I didn't know if you got that email yet or not. I'm going to talk to them tonight. So.
I'm leaving town Thursday evening, so
Okay.
I won't be here.
Does anyone
I
else?
should be
know?
there.
You should be? Okay.
I should be too.
All right. Mr. Johnson?
Be for Memorial Day.
Okay. It's at 10 a.m. on Monday, right out front here. And with that, too, I wanted to bring up the murals. So the mural, first off, the mural, amazing. We said a lot of great things about it. But I wanted to bring up to this commission that I do believe that it's a great opportunity for the city to be unique and stand out in several ways. We've gotten a lot of positive comments on the Daytona Avenue Bridge, and I think that when we look at ways with our CRA to beautify things and to stand out and to really, instead of being that city just between Daytona and Ormond, we're that artful, eclectic city, and it's something that I would never expect a city like Ormond Beach to do. Daytona, they're probably going to go down that route, as I understand as well. But we have a unique opportunity to really set ourselves apart in that way, and we're open arms supporting the Arts Festival. People are coming from all over, and we just recently had one of the most successful events that was the Arts Festival, and that was only one day because the second day rained out. And so that momentum is building, and I just think it'd be a wonderful thing for people to, when they talk about our city, they think of art. They think of beautiful art, and I think it could start, we always talk about replacing that old perception of our city that we're fighting so hard to improve and make better. And it's probably one of the best ways to really move our city forward, beautify it. So I would like the City Commission to take a look at being more open to exactly what you mentioned earlier with the CRA to allow businesses to do it. And to build upon that, actually, just a couple days ago, the DAV, who's not in our CRA, actually contacted me and said, hey, are we allowed to paint a huge, beautiful American flag around the corner of our big building right there, the big DAV building? And they sent me a picture of it. It looks amazing. So I sent it over to Joe, and they should be able to do that. They're going to do that privately with their own money. They're going to raise money for it. But it would be really neat to see other places like Chris's Lounge with the beautiful murals that are supporting our troops. There's pictures of troops on that mural. It's amazing. So I'm open to it, and I don't know, if we should have a meeting about it or if we should just kind of let Mr. Forte know that we want him to start considering ideas like that.
Mayor,
Mr. Penny?
Just do it.
And you brought up wraps on the electrical boxes. I think Orlando does that, and it's awesome. And those are going to be really ugly. They're going to stand out right away. But if we put those wraps on it, it could be something special as well.
I'm all in favor of Mr. Mayor, and Mr. Forte pointed out to me, there's a lot of murals around our city already.
Yeah.
Just not seeing them. When we were at the River Lily, all that artwork that Art Capuccio did on the fences. Have you walked around
True.
the property and seen
Yeah.
all? And Chris's Lounge.
Yep.
It just got a paint job. Did you notice?
they painted
It was green. Now it's
Yeah.
peach.
PC
Yeah.
sorting.
But each one of those little niches has a unique piece of artwork in there, and they add one or two every year, and it's just really cool. And so I think jump on board.
Yeah. Yes, Commissioner.
When we had the thing, whenever it was, remember I was kind of putting in the idea of something, I mentioned Dothan had a little video slide, different, like, when we were trying to, I was trying to.
Peanut
push
capital of the world.
some,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
so, it was like, at that time, I was thinking if we could set ourselves apart with something, at that time, I was thinking it was just an example, but, this could be this could be something like I was thinking about, something to
That's right.
give us a little,
So,
niche or something.
so is Sorrento's going to have a big mural now?
Big pizza out there, man.
A big pizza, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I can definitely support, especially after what I've seen. I mean, these artists are so talented. I was so impressed. And I'd love to see more of that throughout
gotta
our
be
city.
careful, though.
I really would.
My only concern is, and Simpson's ears are going to perk up here, is the content. How you,
That's what we gotta be
I'm
careful.
sitting here reading the sign cone as you speak.
Yeah.
I was way ahead of you.
how we all are, I think everyone in this room is in agreement that's an amazing piece of art. There may be something that might be offensive or not considered art to someone, and how one man's art is another man's junk, so you just have to be careful that, and I don't know how you control that.
I could tell you one way we could slightly control it. We can't regulate content. We can regulate the difference between a mural and a sign, because there is a difference between what is considered artwork versus what is a sign referring to the type of business. So if somebody's going to paint a mural that happens to be also considered a sign, it falls under our sign permit requirements.
So I can't paint the big pizza then?
Mr. Walker, please come to the microphone. Thank you.
But if we don't have color standards, if I just wanted to, by
We do
happenstance,
have color standards.
paint my building colors that ended up making a picture,
We do have color standards.
but they're very open.
Let's see what Brian's got to say.
Mr. Walker?
I was just going to add that our code does say that anything that is harmful or considered offensive to minors could not be done. And then there is a definition for that in our code as to what specifically those types of things that would include. So you couldn't do a mural of, let's say, people who are not clothed and just put that out there and claim that it's artwork, because it would go against what our code actually defines as being harmful to minors. So we do have a definition for that.
And
Good, that was going to
we
be.
have the ability to, if we're going to do this through the CRA and we're going to partially fund it, we have the ability to not fund something that we don't consider to be, that would be
Okay,
considered.
so we don't have to pay for it if we don't like it.
Yeah, but that's not, look at the American Legion or whatever it is, they're paying for it themselves.
If a business wants to pay for it themselves, like anything else, they can do it right now.
Yeah, but who's going to regulate the content, is what
We
I'm saying.
don't.
Nobody.
We don't have the ability to regulate the content. But forever, they've had the opportunity to do that. Nobody's done it.
Well, if it starts getting to be more popular, it might plant a seed
We
in
have
somebody.
good, popular artwork. Why would somebody put something that's
Because
distasteful?
you know as well as
Right.
I do, there's always that somebody that's going to, look what they did to the,
And there's a distinct, there's also what they talked about with offensive, obscene material type things, but there's also a distinction between, is it artwork or are you promoting a business? And an aquarium store could paint a pizza on the sign, it could be considered artwork inside the building. You paint a pizza on the side of your building, are you really your
I'm not even thinking about that.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, that's the
I
distinction.
understand.
Like, the DAV puts out the American flag, but say the Army Navy store does it. Does that now start getting into more advertising their business?
And what happens if when the next guy puts a swastika because he's into that type
Yeah,
of
you
flag?
gotta allow that. Oh, yeah, you can't, that's not offensive.
But, I think that the private market,
I think the community will take care of
community
that
would,
themselves.
if somebody painted a swastika or something that offensive, I think people probably wouldn't shop there anymore.
Right, but that's,
Hopefully, I'd
from
hope.
our standpoint, what we really look at is the mural fall under our definition of a sign, or is our mural artwork? And that's really kind of the distinction. so.
Usually we don't, but you can come forward.
Since you're an
Since
expert.
you're the expert.
All right.
Wait till you get to the microphone and just state your name and address for the record.
Oh, I'm Tasha Roth. I live at, wait, I have to say my address?
You can just say who you're with. Say Save the
Oh,
Arts.
I went to Save the Arts. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with TED Talks.
Yes.
So you guys brought up some really great points about how the community is going to interact with the murals. So there is one specifically about how they took probably one of the worst communities in the American nation, and they made this project, and I can send the link to people.
send it to
I think
me.
it would be
That'd be great.
Yeah, please send that to our city manager. He'll give you a card.
Yes, it's called, I had it pulled up. It's called The Transformative Power of Street Art. And I think that if you guys watched it, it would kind of clear up some of these misconceptions or like confusions or concerns that you have about what people are going to put up on the wall, as well as how the community is going to react. So basically what happened is they took the worst neighborhood, I think it was like in Brooklyn or Chicago or something, absolutely highest crime rates, and they brought art to it. And because they brought art to it and they transformed all these walls and they got that community involved, that neighborhood is now a high traffic, a high performance, the income. So you guys will notice that even as more art goes up, the values of housing is going to go up, more business is going to come to our local businesses. Like the town itself, the value is going to go up. And the community will react. So when you're concerned about content, negative content's not going to fly with the community. So there will be, of course, content that will bring up a discussion, but a discussion is positive. But the community's not going to allow itself. And if you bring in a certain team or a group of people who can kind of like run the murals around, especially so Natasha has this amazing vision of Save the Arts, and that's including all these artists in the community. And you'll notice more artists coming out of the community, because even when we're doing this one mural, people are like, oh, I do art, and I just don't know how to put it out there. So this is providing an opportunity for the community to get more involved, and that will regulate the content in itself. So it's kind of like one of those things that will snowball in a positive way, and all these concerns will just kind of, crease itself out. So if that's something that is interesting to you, I highly recommend that. And the group that I was talking about for Jacksonville, it's called Art Republic Global, and their content is all over the place. Like, it's incredible. They have stuff about culture, they have stuff just about oceans because it's beachside, and then they have all this other stuff of just world concerns, and it's beautiful. And because of that, Jacksonville has now had this amazing community. They're progressive as well, and I think if Holly Hill wants to go that route, it should be something kind of similar to what they're doing as well. So you guys have some sort of guideline and comparative action to go off of.
Could you put that in the email as well? And Joe,
Joe just wrote it down.
if you could get that out to us as well whenever you get the TED Talk link. Yeah, I definitely want to look into that. Yeah.
I just want to say, if we look at the community to the west, DeLand,
Yeah.
that is a community that went down the road with murals.
Horses.
Yeah.
And it has been so positive for that community.
You're right.
People taking pictures with the stuff. I mean, I see it posted all the time, people that I don't even know, but I mean, just tons of photos with all the murals they have
And
there.
even so, St. Pete is another really great example. Miami with their art basel, and the more art you're going to bring, the more foot traffic you're going to bring. So with all that in consideration, you're also looking at this huge increase in profit within the city. So it's like these great points of like, yes, art's going to bring the community together, but it's also going to bring the whole value of the city up. And then more people are going to be man, we should be like Holly Hill. Like, that's kind of where it's going to head off to.
Thank you so much, Tasha.
Thank you.
Josh.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, Vice Mayor.
So we all know that some kid did his own rendition of a mermaid on the thing during the second day. And Mr. Forte, I understand, is going to order some protective covering to help it be vandalized proof. But what does a UV light in Florida do to these things? Does that covering make it last? Like, how long would in the Florida sun, how long does an average mural last before you got to go touch it up?
I mean, obviously, we use regular outdoor paint, So it's, 30+ years or, however, I mean, it also depends on the area, if it's in a shade or direct sun. So I don't know all the science behind paint.
Yeah.
But it's got long lasting, especially has the graffiti guard. And if you can connect with some type of professional service that does the clear coating. So as artists, clear coatings go wrong for us, so we have to get other people
Okay.
to do it because there's like certain humidities that you're supposed to apply that to. But they do that, the longevity of it. So I don't know if you've seen like that huge wall on the boardwalk. Something used to be there and it wore down. But the cool thing about murals is inevitably they're gonna go away and they're gonna get replaced. So if we're building this art community, someone's gonna be there to replace it in the future anyways, and it's gonna be dynamic.
Great, thank you very much, Tasha. Thank you for adding that too. So, I think the direction's pretty clear that we could take a look and start moving down that route. All right, that's all I have tonight. So with that, I'll go to you, Mr. Forte.
The only thing I had was we got a letter from the Volusia Growth Management that Loretta Arthur's appointment to the Growth Management Commission is coming up for renewal. We did reach out to her, and she said that she would be willing to serve again, but wouldn't feel bad if you had someone else to appoint to that board. So it's not due, it gets reappointed actually in, it ends June 30th is when her term expires. So we have maybe a meeting or two if you have somebody else that you'd like to appoint to the Growth Management Commission. Otherwise, she said she would be willing to continue. It's a 4-year term. She's been on it since 2014. So it sounds like she's willing to do it, but wouldn't mind if we found somebody else to serve in that capacity.
I think she's a great representative for our city. She's very smart, and I would be in favor of keeping her on unless somebody else wanted to take a look at anybody else.
You don't have to decide that tonight. I'll bring it up again at the next meeting and just think about it if you have somebody else, and
Great.
we'll go from there. All right, that's all that I have.
Oh, okay. Mr. Simpson?
I wanted to just thank you for your comments about the chamber. If you look at this last year, even during the pandemic, we put on car shows, we put on art shows, we put on this Touch a Truck, and Sammy has really done a great job. He's very enthusiastic in getting this stuff done. And, the art show that Pat put on in the park was phenomenal. What pickleball is doing, it's phenomenal. So we're getting that recognition. It's taken a long time, but we're getting there. And, it's almost at the point where we're having so many events. Unfortunately, Sammy has taken some of them on. I hope it gets busy enough that I come to you and say, we need an event coordinator.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Forte. Mr. Simpson?
No comments.
Val? Scott? All right. Tonight we'll start with you.
All
Mr.
right. Thank you guys for painting our bridge there. It does look good. I just wanted to say also about the Touch a Truck event. I took my granddaughter and my daughter there. We had a great time. Got face paint and all that good stuff. But as Joe was saying, we're riding the wave. And I get to talk to a lot of people in my business. And I had the pleasure of sitting there talking to a Ormond Beach commissioner last week who is jealous of City of Holly Hill right now because we're doing so well. And that was kind of good to hear. Not that anyone had jealousy in that fact, but it was kind of like, I said something and he goes, yeah, man, I'm jealous of you guys. So I thought, that's a good jealousy to have when you're kind of on an upswing.
It's a good feeling for a change.
Yeah, it is a good feeling for a change, but that's all I have to say.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, I was a little impressed with the Touch a Truck show as well. I didn't realize there would be so many people come out to see it. And even Commissioner Penny mentioned that as well. He was kind of impressed with the crowd and how many kids there was and how many trips we had to make up and down all them ladders on that crane and all. That was pretty good. And one of those kids managed to find the hidden switch and unlock the hydraulic system out of them. So it took me a while to figure that one out. Bring your outriggers back in and all get it to work. But he found the hidden switch that I didn't know about, but it's all brand new, so. And it really was a good thing. It went over real well, went real smooth. It just there's several trucks there, but most of what I was impressed with was the crowd of how many people. There was so many people there, you know, so many kids and all that really liked it. We gave out a lot of things from FPL logo on it and all. So it's good images a lot, you know, nowadays. And then, I don't know how many people have been to the new gymnasium up on Nova Road, but if nobody's been inside of it, I hope anyone that hadn't can come next Sunday afternoon, because we have it reserved for free for the whole afternoon or Sunday afternoon. So if you, I know you're out on town and you're gone, right, John?
Yeah.
And you're gone anyway.
Yeah.
And I plan on being there.
Come and bring your grandkids, so you'd be impressed. 30,000 square feet of fun and games in there for the
I've been
little
thinking about taking them up
kids. And
there.
that parking
It's really
lot
nice.
is full almost every afternoon
Yeah.
up in there. They say they have like 500 members in there. So
Wow.
Could you speak closer to the mic, because sometimes
Oh.
we don't pick you up.
look, close to 500 members in that gymnasium. That's pretty good. And the parking lot's full. Because I go in and check it out a lot of times after I leave Dallas's little ball practices up at Ormond Rec. And he's doing really, really good with it. But it would be nice to go in there and see it and see what the inside is and what all he has in there. And it's all good for parties and different things as well. And if you can come, you come.
Yeah, I plan on being there.
And
Yep.
bring the kids. And
Yep.
if you think they was impressed with the crane, they'll really be impressed.
Well, that's where they do gymnastics, so they love
they
it.
do, so
Yeah.
they know
Oh, yeah.
about it.
Right down the street.
And you're going to be able to come
Sunday afternoon,
Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday afternoon,
maybe.
1 to 4, anytime in between. Scott? No? Yes.
Probably not.
How about Joe?
John, you could eat some pizza.
Supposed to go to camp.
Yeah.
For once.
Sunday, Memorial Day weekend.
I'll be thinking about you.
Okay, that's a good thing. Think about Dallas's birthday party, you know. And then we had 4 games this weekend in Vera. He won 4 games and Vera lost 1, so he did pretty good in that. And it was a long weekend. And tomorrow morning we have a TPO meeting, so if anyone has anything that I could bring up or mention at the TPO meeting tomorrow. There's lots and lots of good, big projects going on in Volusia County. But it pretty much covers all of District 5 for DOT, which is several counties, but
Actually, on that point, Commissioner Johnson, Mr. Forte, would you like to tell the commission now, we briefly spoke to, what's her name? No.
Lois?
Lois, and about possibly doing a whole study of the.
Yeah, as I'm talking to the commissioners, I mentioned that Lois suggested that we may be able to do a citywide traffic analysis just to see where some of our traffic problems really are and
And they could help us with that.
see what happens after that, so.
And I'd like to see that done, especially if they're going to be the ones doing that. Anything else,
the
Mr.
other
Johnson?
thing I have is we have in our audience a retired member of the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce, 37 years, Jim? 38 years. Now he's retired, see, just sitting back relaxing, right?
I'll still be coming to y'all's meetings.
Oh, well, we love you, Jim.
And I'll see him Sunday afternoon, right, Jim?
Be there.
He's going to be jumping in the gym.
There we
Yeah.
go. All right, is that all,
I
Commissioner?
need to fly back for that.
All right, Vice Mayor Penny?
I guess the topic of the week is the Touch a Truck, and when I first heard about it, I had no idea anyone would want to come out and see these trucks, but I was amazed at how many people came out. My only disappointment was that we need to all reach out to our Hollow Hill businesses and encourage them to take advantage of the opportunity to advertise our business, that Sammy is doing an amazing job for us. Very few chamber members, even fewer Holly Hill businesses in attendance. Not that it was bad for the people that were there, but we're here to promote from within, and we need to encourage local businesses to participate. A lot of people say there's often little or nothing that the government or the chamber does for our community, and events like this are the perfect opportunity. For the trucks, it was free. For businesses like myself, it was $50 to advertise your business. So just encourage local businesses to either become members of the chamber or pay the $25 extra for the non-member fee to be here. But it was an amazing event. My only disappointment was most of the businesses were outside of our community.
You know what mine was? The macaroni and cheese for $15. I got 3 shrimp.
Hey,
Sorry.
I had a potato that was the best potato I ever had in
I
my
should have went
life.
that route too.
But at that event, I had the opportunity to talk with a guy that many of you have probably seen. Some of you may know, Johnny Nomad. He does video and photography around the community, and he's a new person to the community. And he pointed something out to me from a new set of eyes. And sometimes we get nose blind to things. I know there's a pile of papers right when you walk inside my house on the table there that's been sitting there for a week that I should have moved, but I disregard it until my wife nags me, and I will move it in the next 6 months, but it's still sitting there.
somebody comes into my house and moves all that.
But he brought my attention to the non-functional fountain in front of City
Our
Hall.
attention.
And, there were kids climbing on those rocks, and I was afraid they were going to fall off and hurt themselves. But he pointed out that, hey, there's 1,000 people here today walking around your City Hall, and you should have your best foot forward. He goes, I know what's going to happen where that fountain is, and I know you know what's going to happen where that fountain is. But I bet there's less than 3 people out of 1,000 people here that know what's coming, and it looks like a broken down fountain. And that's where our military memorial is going to go, coming soon. And so I talked to him, and I said, yeah, that's a point I hadn't thought of. So he offered, at our convenience, that he would come out and do some videography with you or with the commission or you and Joe and get ahead of it. He says, I'll come out, we'll do a presentation, look what's coming soon. Put it on Facebook, put it on all the social media, so that, perception is reality. There's a broken down fountain. But it's only broken down and not working because it's about to be replaced with something much better and much more impactful for the community. So I'll throw that to you and to Joe if you guys want to put it together. I don't think all of us need to be there, but if the 2 of you guys go out and let him film you.
And he's really good at what he
What about the
does.
other thing we were talking about? Can't.
So that was eye-opening to me. Jeep Beach was there. You mentioned Jeep Beach was there. What a great partner for our community. They made a lot more money this year than last year and are going to spread it throughout the community. They do so much good work with the Boys and Girls Club. And they're taking on the military museum that just relocated to Holly Hill. They're going to get a grant from them this year also. And one other thing that came up, sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I didn't even write this down. But there was an advertising company there. I don't know if you've seen it around town, but it is a rolling piece of amazing technology. There's video screens on the sides and the back of this panel van, and there's 7x7 video screens, and they're all linked together, and it looks like a flat screen TV in your house.
It looks like a big screen.
They have speakers on the outside of it, and they were playing videos and doing music out. But what they put on the Cars video, the animated Pixar Cars video. As soon as they put that on, 20 kids lined up in front of the grass and started watching the movie.
Yeah.
And what came to my mind was that we've tried in the past, taken a couple swings, several swings and several misses with movies in the park. And the summertime, in my opinion, is the best time to have those, but it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock at night. With the projection style technology, you can't put that thing on till at least 8:45, and it's too late. This thing was amazing. So I threw it to Sammy, and I said, at the Chamber of Commerce, I said, if 3 businesses got together and sponsored this thing, or 1 business, I talked to the owner, she'd rent her truck for 3 hours for $500. You could certainly play a movie within 3 hours. You could get there ahead of time. But I think there's huge potential there to do something either on our front lawn or at Sunrise Park or something like that. So hopefully the Chamber will bring that forward to us. And I told her I'd be the first sponsor of the first movie. Wow. So it's, again, on a roll, just things in the community. And I think community breeds community. So all none of this would have happened, none of these ideas, or these two crazy ideas maybe, wouldn't have happened if we hadn't had the touch a truck thing to be there. And so it was good. It was good to see the community come out, all the families, the small kids. So Sammy's doing an amazing job. Next time you see her, tell her.
It's fresh energy.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Well, I love those ideas, Commissioner. Very good. Did you want to talk about this, the business bill?
You didn't let Commissioner Curry go yet.
Oh, Commissioner Curry,
Will you
were you
talk
bringing
about
this
it?
up?
I don't believe there will be unanimous support from the Volusia League of Cities. What we're talking about, there's a bill, what's the bill number again, Mayor? HB
403, House Bill
HB 403. So what it basically is, it's a preemptive bill, and makes it so that the cities basically can't regulate home-based businesses. So that a business can operate as a home-based business in a residential area and have the same rights as any other business in the business area. They can actually have employees, up to 2 employees, come to their business. They can have parking, and the parking is very vague because it says parking will be no more than should be expected in a residential community. Well, I don't think we have any parking regulations in residential communities. So basically, it would take any authority, not any, most authority from local restrictions on home-based businesses. The Florida League was in negotiation with the legislators, and they had come up with a great compromise. And at the last minute, there were amendments made to the bill, which made it to, it's sitting on the governor's desk for signature. And so the Florida League has sent out urgent messages for all local leagues, the Volusia League, and any municipalities to send a letter in opposition to the governor to ask him to sign it. So the Volusia League took a Zoom meeting, and we basically came to the conclusion that the Florida League had more influence than any of the individual leagues and any of the individual cities, and they spoke for the individual leagues and the individual cities. So we just left it that we would let the Florida League send a letter of opposition. Another school of thought was that some of the other members of our Volusia League thought that the governor's going to sign the bill anyways, and no reason to poke a sleeping bear.
Right.
So,
And Florida League of Cities is really on top of it for us.
right.
They speak collectively as a voice, but I wanted to make sure at least everybody was aware that that was going on. The Florida League is going to do that, so thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Curry?
Thank you. I also, again, want to thank you guys for what you've done, and I look forward to more in the future. Touch a Truck, I was thinking, are little kids really going to be interested in this? Okay, great, it's an event to have people come out to, but was kind of unsure about it. I was there with my daughter, son-in-law, and my grandkids, and they had the time of their lives. And I was looking around at all the other little kids just having a fabulous time that day. I'm like, wow, okay, this is pretty cool. And I did speak to Sammy. I think she's doing a really good job. I like seeing all the events, especially when it involves kids. So that was a outstanding event. Look forward to seeing it next year again. And I would just like to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Please be safe in whatever you go out and venture to do. And have a good evening. That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any other further business before us? With that, we are now adjourned.
Sit.